All right, this is the CSRN weekly video minutes. This is our podcast where we come and talk about some of the things that we did this week, some of the things that we're doing right now, which we got a couple of awesome women since it's Women's History Month, and some of the things that we got planned on in the future. What we're going to do for you right now, family, so that we can get everybody logged in. Hey, listen, we're going to put our if you're watching this, share this feed within the next 5 minutes or so. We're going to go ahead and get it started. All right,
Now we're back.
hey, now we're really, really back. Y'all didn't think we were back before. We were just testing you to see if you were listening. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast where we talk about some of the things that we've done the past week. Some of the things that we got going on right now is National Women's History Month, Jody, and we got Affy Hemmings. I think we got Olivia Holden from Assets Toledo to come in and talk about how you can build your business from the ground up and some of the things that it takes, and also some of the things that we got going on in the future. We've got Sons of Toledo that's going to be premiering soon.
Yeah. Well, it's actually a couple premieres, and next Saturday I'm actually taking off so I can be there at one at my. We'll share that on the page. I
Okay.
actually got connected to it, but
All right. Well, that was dope. That was dope. And also in the future, we've got holistic urban holistics. They're having their. Oh, you got the shirt on. All right, somebody getting a check and it ain't me. But we've got Urban Holistics, and they've got something going on for Minority Health Month next month, and a lot of other things. First, I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi in Drabil Bay. 7 years ago, they had this idea that ordinary people can come together and speak truth to power. In the past, we would always depend on our pastors and politicians and other professionals to speak for us, not knowing that they in the bed with them, all right, so to speak.
90% of the time.
And other ways to speak. So they had this idea that ordinary people could come together. They launched an event, and then they asked me if I could come in and help fine tune some things. And here we are 7 years later, still getting it in, a part of the protest culture and activist community. And it does make a difference when people that are vested in their community and on ground zero, on the front line, we know what we're talking about, Jody, because we're there. All right. Today, I have on my brown glasses. I've got my black cap on, and in honor of National Women's Month, I've got on my Harriet Tubman shirt. It says "We Out," Harriet Tubman, 1849. Now, I'm positive that she may not have said "We Out," but I'm positive that's what she meant. And some of us, if she could have just convinced us that we were slaves, then she could have freed more.
Right.
And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting and protecting all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else, CSRN. Jody, I think that I've covered everything in my intro that I need. Let me pass it on to you. If you could introduce yourself. What do you have on? Is that a new trinket that I see? And then we're going to take a short break after our mission statement and our guiding principles. And then we're going to come back with Affy.
Yes. So, what's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. And I'm the treasurer of this wonderful organization that has stood the time to lucky number 7. Let's see. Small intro, because again, as you see every week, I like to be treasurer, but we get incrementally better from the grassroots phone and stuff. Now we got the little timer.
Yeah.
Soon we'll be drinking cups of water and pressing buttons. And no, that's not gonna happen. I'm the treasurer. Anyway, I ain't gonna cut that check. But for those of you listening out there that might be organizing, because this is about to be protest season. Tomorrow I'll actually be in Columbus with the Survivor Series,
right,
telling the story about how my mom was murdered by a serial killer and all this other stuff. The last time I was there was for abortion law, HB something. But this is, like you said, this isn't a show or background. This is what we actually do for a living.
Right.
So for those of you out there listening that might not be able to see my handsome face and all that stuff, I am a big brown cinnamon tone bear of a man that is covered in tattoos, and I have piercings and I have crystals and stones and bones and pieces of life that I've gained through experience and mistakes. And I keep these as, I guess, back in the day, my ancestral memories. So when you hear them jingling, you might even be able to see them today in the camera. But when you hear them jingling, I am remembering those places that I worked.
That's awesome.
Right now, I'm my only ancestor. I have my sister and some other stuff, but yeah. So it's not too many chains. It's, I don't know, how many memories can I hold on to? And other than that, there's some stuff. I'll do a little segment later. You try to get the spoilers with the Sons of Toledo, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Because I like to get attention too. All right,
and what's going on there now? But seriously though, because we also like to keep this show not necessarily lighthearted, because we know the work that we do, mental health, and again, it's about to be protest season. People aren't afraid the snow no more, so you might see the streets flooded for one reason or another. This is how we keep to that mission of 7 years. Minus the protests, the months in the winter when there's just two people or a couple people in the room trying to plan out the summer. This is your foundation. This is our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to We bring awarenesses to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. And justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I guess I got to shake the cobwebs out and stuff, you know.
Well, last week we had some technical difficulties, and
we got held hostage. No, I'm just playing. All right. Beat up.
And we weren't able to do our mission statement and guiding principles, but we're back. So that might be a little bit of getting back on track. What I'm going to recite now are our guiding principles. We came upon these in 2015 at the Movements for Black Lives convening, and this was an awesome convention of everyone 40 and under, except for me. Maybe I was the oldest person there.
No, we had plenty of elders there. I got it on video, the drum circles.
And they gave some guiding principles for the liberation movement for now. And we took those guiding principles, added some things to have a local feel to it. And this allows us to keep doing what we're doing without imploding, without eating each other from within.
Yep.
And this is our CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing, one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
Family, those are our guiding principles. Hey, Jody, before we go on break, I know you just read the mission statement. How important do you think having a mission statement for, I don't want to say just the grassroots organization, but how important do you think a mission statement is to have in these days and time?
Extremely. And this is not saying that everybody's life or everybody's organization is supposed to look like another, but it's your purpose. It's the foundation that you stand on. I mean, most of us are lost in life until we find something that we're not willing to give up.
Wow.
And those are the things that, whatever it is, whether it be a food business, your art business, you want to be a singer, don't get held up by contracts. You want to make movies.
Right.
These are the things that it's like your contract. When you're inviting people into your home, you're not just saying touch everything. I have no boundaries. These are our boundaries. These are the things that if you want to do this, that you're going to have to be able to accept, sacrifice, and take upon yourself.
All right. Hey, what we're going to do with Jody, let's take a short break. We're going to come back with Appy Hemmings.
Yes.
And then we've got Assets Toledo. All right, we got Assets Toledo. We got Appy Hemmings. So family, just stay tuned. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3, BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard, on the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see, on the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder. They give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man.
We are back. We're back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast where we talk about some of the things we've done last week. The things we're doing right now, which is waiting for our sister, Affy Hemmings, to come on the screen. I don't know where she's at, not unless we have to have the tech team to do their part, all right, in putting her on. So let's bring her on. All right, my sister, Affy, how you doing?
I'm fine, and yourself?
All right. You got some of.
He's got too many buttons.
They've got the applause. How neat is that?
We're gonna have the Baker Boys sound in the background in a moment.
All right. Okay. No. Come on. All right. I'm supposed to be the resident hater, not you. All right. But look, we got our sister here, Affy. Thank you for joining us today. Later on, we've got our sister Olivia Holden from Access Toledo. But right now, we have Affy Hemmings. I wanted to know if you could, for some of those that may be watching this, some of those that may stream it later, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Okay, well, my name is Affy Hemmings. I'm from Bronx, New York. I've been living in Toledo for the last 20 years. The reason that I kind of started doing my business of custom treats was about 10 years ago. I was much heavier then, but I could never find jewelry that would fit me or cell phone cases that I liked. So I started doing research on YouTube and started making my own jewelry with resin and, with the regular clay beads and different things like that. And I kind of just stayed with that for a time. And it wasn't until recently at the end of 2019, that I started researching other things. Because I realized that I was staying on just that too long. And sometimes if it's not moving as fast as you wanted to, or since I felt like I had all those years invested with just focusing on jewelry, I needed to do something else because I couldn't stay in that place. And so I like clothes, I like matching. So I decided, I was going to do some shirts. And shoot, I can always dress my child in whatever I wanted, and I wanted to come up with my own little logo. So what I have for my drip line is my West Side, East Side, West Side, South Side drip. And the reason I came up with that was no matter where you grew up, you meet anybody, say, oh, what side of town you from? Oh, I'm from West Side, East Side, and it's all love. So I say, hey, why not put some drip on it and match some things up? So that's where that comes from. So I have the clothing, and then I have other things that I do, but I like by order. It's not, like I have everything out on the table at once, but you'll be able to order from me because I have a list that I'm getting ready to put out. And then I have right now my most popular things are my rugs. So I started that in June of last year. I wanted to find something different than from what everybody else was doing that, you can use anywhere in the house. It doesn't have to be in one set location. So that's how I came up with the rugs.
Okay, so
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
and my jewelry, I didn't finish yet.
That's why I was going to butt in to say, Jody, don't cut her off because she's about to talk about the crystals. All right.
Yeah. So I'm not into crystals as much as Jody as you are. I kind of just focus on three things, and really too with as far as me doing my business. What I want to say, what kind of fueled it in the last 4 years is I've had quite a few surgeries. So for me, my outlet of dealing with pain was creating. So that's where that come from. And I don't know if you saw, it's probably been maybe 6 months now. I have a new logo, which is the bird. And that was dreamt up by me and John Barner. During the summertime, I was sitting on the porch and a hawk came and got on top of my car.
Okay.
And
okay. Do you stay out in the country? Are there hawks in the hood, Jody?
Man, it was a hawk. I'll send you the picture in my roll one day.
Okay.
I got a video.
All right.
I was like, what's he doing over here? I was surprised myself. So I looked up and saw what it meant. And then so I was telling him, and then just some things that people have told me about myself, about being resilient, because I've been through breast cancer, back surgeries, and a couple other things. So like I said, that fuels my fire to keep doing what I'm doing. And like I know for at the starting of some of my bracelets have become more popular. So with that saying about the pain, I focused on hematite, lava beads, and tiger eye, which help with anxiety, depression, and hematite for the inflammation, just different things like that. That's what I wanted to focus on because I know for me, I felt like they work and they half work, or I say there works more for you. You have to, of course, go into it believing it and not, because I've had conversations, people who've come to my table to ask me about it. And I've had like a 10-minute conversation. Well, how now it's going to work? And I said, well, you can't go into it negatively first.
Right.
I said, you have to, have some positive power thinking. So I've asked people to do reviews and stuff, but I haven't gotten any back yet about the bracelets. But at the same time, I do have repeat customers who come back and get bracelets for their families and friends. So at the same time, I guess that's my review.
I believe, yeah. Well, back when I was buying all the crystals and stones and putting them in the dream boxes, I believe you do have a review on one of them. Plus, you got a review when we did the Black Lives Matter 2020.
Oh wow! I was thinking of right.
One of the.
Is it on you guys' page? Or?
Yeah, the award show and everything.
Yeah, we have the Black Lives Matter, our virtual Black Lives Matter awards, and we sought out Black entrepreneurs to fill the box, and we would travel to meet our recipients. Sometimes at their home, we would meet them in the community, and they would open it up. They would see your products and they were blown away just by the texture of the differences of the things that they had. So when we were thinking about someone to have on for National Women's Month, your name kept popping up. You're like, well, what about Ampy? I'm like, no, not Ampy. They're like, yeah, no. Here we are. Then they said, okay, you need to call her, Brother Washington. All right. So we love that. I wanted to ask you a question about, you talked about some of your health challenges and how resilient you've been. What is it about you, Appy, that you keep bouncing back? Because during the pandemic, we've lost a lot of friends. During the pandemic, a lot of us have lost hope. I know we talk about self-care a lot and finding a space, a place where you can rebalance. What is it about you that keeps you bouncing back? And what are some of the things that you do to rebalance and recenter?
Well, what keeps me balanced, I think, well, first I have a relationship with the Lord. My mom was an evangelist, so I kind of stayed in the church. So for me, when things feel bad, I turn to God, or I listen to music or anything. I watch a movie, anything to try to keep my spirits up. Of course, still I break down sometimes, but after that breakdown cry, then it's like it's over. And then now I got to keep pushing and move on. And I keep smiling because what's the point of me being angry to you? You didn't do anything to me. My pain is not your fault. So why do that? And plus, I guess it also helps, but not just that growing up. For the last, 18 years minus the last 6, not included, I've been a receptionist since I was 25. So, I've worked in doctor's offices, all type of different things. So I know how to deal with people. So I'm sure that helps me too.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Well, I did want to have a question. So no more hummingbird. Is it Hawkingbird?
No. It's hummingbird. It's just that bird with him coming and sitting there and just staying there. And then when I read what it said, I kind of just took from it the definition of what he meant, and then said I still saying since I say hummingbirds, that's what I use. And hummingbird actually came from, of course, my last name is Hemmings, but my friend Melody, she came up with it, and she was just like, because of course you want people, you having a group of following. So birds, of course, they ride in the pack, and of course, these are positivity birds. So that's how it came. That's how it came up.
Hummingbird posts.
Huh?
I've caught a few of those Good Morning Hummingbirds posts.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, before we leave, we wanted to ask you, what are some of the things that you've got coming up next? And if someone wanted to see any of your products, how do they get a hold of you?
Hi guys, I'm sorry I can't really look at the other screen. People are talking. Well, I'll be. I'm going to double check to make sure they're still having the event. But the next event that I plan on doing was this Saturday at Zelma's Place. Every month they represent a different school, so you can come there and hang out with your people that you went to school with and buy merchandise for your school. So I have, my son is a graduate of Scott, so I decided that with me doing the rugs, I decided I wanted to do something to give back with school. So I started with his, where for every rug that I sell, so it's bulldogs, so I should say that, bulldogs, Scott bulldogs. So for every rug that I sell, they're $50, and then $10 is donated back to the school for each one. So I also awesome. I want to do that with other schools too. So I have some memos that I'm getting ready to work up and send out. But I just do personalized rugs. I have my T-shirt line. Like I said, if you like, I have. Let's see, I can show you this. I have. This is one of the new designs. This is one of the new designs. It's a shirt. I can take it out if you want me
to. Yeah. All right. Now we're talking. All right. Now we're talking.
I'm trying to get
we're about to get some free stuff, Jody. we about to get some free swag. What? Oh, the drip line. All right, that's what's up.
I got to do some other colors, and I got some other things. Things are always running through my head. However, so this year, I've had a lot of requests for, like, some people don't like the unisex tee, so I got some lady cut shirts, but of course they would, they run smaller because they're lady cut, but I have just like the pattern.
Oh, that's awesome.
The pattern of that, and then I just brought this. See, I have one of the tiger eye. Let's see, where do I have to focus it at? Oh, okay.
Right there.
Right so there. This is one of the no, this way. One of the tiger eye bracelets with some bling on it.
All right.
And then this is one of the lava bead bracelets that have crowns on it. This one has a name called crown. I have a couple of them. Like if there's 2 crowns, just crown him. Or at a different name if you have more. So the ones with the crowns, they range 20 to 25, but all my jewelry ranges from 10 to 25.
That's awesome.
And I also do cloths. If people want cloths, those are 5, or you can get 5 for 20, and I can personalize it with anything you want. And I can personalize almost anything. And this is one of the examples of the rugs. But if you just want a regular rug, the rug are $35.
That's awesome. We need to get a rug for the podcast. All right, Jody.
Yeah, I could do that.
We need to get a CSRN rug for the podcast, and when we introduce ourselves, we have the rug.
A don't tread on me rug.
Well, I was gonna say a don't mess with me rug. All right, but anyway, but it's a PG show, so I'm gonna say don't mess with me show or find out. But yeah. So
you said the event. I'm sorry, my brain is going mile a minute. So
that's good.
So with the events, I did put them on in my story and on my page. My personal page is Afi Hemmings. My business page is Custom Treats, CustomTreatz.com. That's the website, or you can type the same thing in for Facebook. And on there, I usually try to have like the item with the QR code, or you can just go to the website. If you find something that you like and you want to pay, not on the website, but if you want to DM me, that's fine, and I'll still send you a Square link. Everything.
Okay.
If I want to do it, it's Square. I mean, Square or anything like that. So it's all legit, and plus tax. So.
And are you able to throw that in the Facebook Live, like any link or information?
So what we'll do,
it doesn't have to be right now. It could be later on.
Right.
As the show goes on.
Right. Right. As soon as when we take our break, because we're going to bring on Olivia, and during that time she can go right to the other phone where she's on Facebook. All right. and before we break, I want to thank you for taking the chance to be with us and talk to us today, that we can get your story out, so that we can get your products out. That's what's up.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
So I want to channel Ruth right now and give you a processing question. What does Women's History Month mean to you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. She closed the door.
Channeling the spirit of Ruth from last show, and with a processing question. What does Women's History Month? Can you hear me now?
I'm trying to. You said a Ruth. I don't think I saw that.
No, never mind the beginning. Just what does Women's History Month mean to you?
Oh, well, that means, shoot, it's not just one month, it's every month, but we should always, each of us, be uplifting each other. If you see, something that you can help your sister with, even in business, like when I see stuff and I know something, I'll tell them, but I try to come with it a little different, because like I said, I have some experience with talking to people at the front desk as a receptionist, so I try to come in on a different way to make people not feel like I'm attacking them, but to let them know that I've already been there, done that. So I'm just trying to help you skip a step that you don't have to deal with.
All right.
We should all, just help each other, because it all comes together when you help each other. I used to have a YouTube channel, and at the end of it, I used to say, if we support each other, we'll all be great. So I still believe that.
Okay, before he jumps in, You said used to.
Yes, I used to have, when I first started back in
Did
the
you
day when I
delete
said I
it?
did the resin, I used to do videos showing my tutorials and all that. And then
Did
I
you
did
delete it?
wigs for a minute.
Is it still there?
I took all those videos down. There's just a couple on there for the wigs, but I did say I was going to start it over again.
Okay, because unless you delete it, it's not used to. It is.
Yeah, no, I deleted it. The
Like
only ones
2 years
there is from
done
a
it.
couple wig ones.
All right. All right. Hey, look, we're going to take a short break. Thank you, Appy, for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having me.
Thank you. Hey, family, this is CSRN, our weekly podcast, our video minutes. Hey, stay tuned for Access Toledo, Jody.
Yep.
It's all
Next
in the house. All right.
commercial
We'll be
break.
right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. Jody, that was a short break.
Yes, it was.
All right, that was Dr. Patrice McClellan. We affectionately call her Dr. P, the leadership coach. She has assisted us in many things regarding policy, education, and she even hosted, I think, one of our debates.
Yep.
All right.
Debates or forums.
Forums.
Something.
Right,
Yep.
right. So thank you, Dr. P. If you're watching this, you know we appreciate you. Hey, listen, we want to talk about another phenomenal Black woman that I've been watching and admiring her from afar. She doesn't know that I'm a fan, but I am. Hey, family, if we could bring up our sister Olivia on the stream.
There we
Sister,
go.
how you feeling?
Doing. Listen, I am so excited to be here this evening. And you talking about a fan, I'm a fan of yours.
Okay, Jody, you can leave now. All right, you can leave out the room. Look, and I tell people this: we have no understanding, really, of how many people love what you do. We may not show up at your house with flowers or Facebook likes, but so many people have benefited from Assets Toledo. So many people have benefited from the transfer of knowledge, good knowledge, so that we can start our businesses and keep our businesses. So, if you could, for our family, if you could introduce yourself, what do you do and why do you do that?
Well, my name is Olivia Holden, and I'm the director of a little organization called Assets Toledo. Let me go back and give you a little brief history. Assets started in 1999. And it was a lady in the Archibald community, the Mennonites, who said, we send large amounts of money to third world countries. Why don't we go to Toledo? We don't want to give anybody a fish. We want to give them a boat and a fishing rod.
Wow.
And so the first executive director married, and then it was just through God that I got the position. We've been in existence since 1999. And what we're an entrepreneurial training program. We teach people how to go into business, but more importantly, how to stay in business. We have over 3,900 people plus who have gone through our program. Of that 3,900, 86, it's more than that, have gone into 86% have gone into business and stayed in business. But what's remarkable about, I think, is we become a family. We're a family. We support each other. There is no dichotomy within the organization or our family. We teach everybody from A to Z, how taxes, insurance, marketing, how to set up your business, what to do if you have a hiccup in your credit. So what? we're going to work with that and make you become a credit worthy person. And so that's what we do. Why do I do it? Because it is very, very exciting to me to tell people, listen, I have 3,900 children.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
then they look at me, well, she's delusional, but I do.
That's awesome.
And they range from the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, whatever they want. I don't, in our organization at Assets, we don't take no for, that's not in our vocabulary. What it is another or the next opportunity. You just have to teach people. And so
Wow.
that's what we do. Um, the classes are 13 weeks. They're offered 3 times a year, January, May, and September. And at the end of that 13 weeks, you end up with a business plan, which the person write.
Right.
But there's technical assistance. After that, we have the alumni. And believe me, I believe in something called follow the dollar. If each one of my students or my family has a widget charged $1, and we all bought a widget, that's $3,900. As
right.
we hear about opportunities, we make sure that each one of the family members is aware. There are a number of opportunities throughout Lucas County, throughout the United States that I hear about. I make sure that the persons know about it. Go after it. If you don't know how to go after it, I'm going to help you get in front of whoever it is, because I'm one of those mothers that don't take no stuff.
That's
And
right.
if you mess with my family, you don't know who you messing
That's
with.
right. That's why I got you on the show, because nobody mess with you. All right. And what I came to love is your fearlessness in addressing the problem of educating us on starting businesses. I'm a part of a lot of conversations of not complaining but critique, and sometimes we may not know, Jody, that we have some awesome resources in the city. If someone says, well, why don't we have any businesses? Why don't we have this? Well, if I did have a business, if I don't know how to keep it, it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
And I just can't log on to a Google link and learn. Sometimes I may have to sit down and listen to a teacher.
Right. Somebody that's actually been through it. Like, just real quick, and I think, because this is my 7th year in business and everything, and there are people out there, is just eventually you get to a point where you're not on social media and doing all that's promotion, but mostly you're doing what I do, like 300 shows a year. And that's why you don't see us everywhere, or we have a storefront. So back to you on that.
All right. How would someone contact you? What's that process? For instance, if I said, "Hey, look, I really want to scale up my," and this is a true story. I want to scale up our bean pie business.
Mm-hmm.
My wife sells bean pies, and I think that we've kind of cornered the market on that. You know, who does that? Well, we do. How do I take it from out the trunk? You know, a lot of us do out the trunk. How do I take it from out the trunk to have it on the Olivia Holden level? How does that happen? How does that happen?
Well, what I suggest is that people come and they take the class. That's number one. But there is technical support that we offer. Let's look at the demographics of where people, and it's a simple matter of sometimes, where are the people who are buying the bean pies? Where are they at? That's one. And who are they? And you do a little survey. So then you decide, well, I want to go outside of that market.
Right.
One of the best resources in the city of Toledo is the public library, because there is a book that will tell you how many pies have been bought from Smuckers to Kroger's and everything. So you're going to take that and look and say, aha, there's my market in, let's say, the 43607 or 43604 area. We're going to go there and we're going to let people know advertising and marketing. And how do you effectively advertise and market? What is your goal? Is your goal to stay outside the trunk of the a car, or is it to have a brick and mortar? See,
Teach.
first you've got to think about, where do I want to go?
Teach.
And what some of our instructors, I mean, we have CPAs, we have attorneys, we have marketing people from the university, and what they'll do is they'll sit down and say they mentor you and say, let's look at how you can do this or that or the other to get where you want to be. But first, you got to figure out where you want to go, and are you willing to put in the time and the effort? I had a young lady once who told me, I want to start my own business because I want to work from 8 to 5. I suggested to her that she keep her day job
Yeah.
because the 24 hours in a day. And if you have your own business, you're going to wish for another 10, which isn't going to happen. So we talk about time management. And are you willing to put in the effort? So those are things that, only you can ask the question. If you call me 419-251-9870, I will help you to, first of all, get into class. Secondly, to tell you what you need to do to say, is this a viable business and how viable is it? So that's the first step, I would say. That's a long, convoluted answer, but it's a it's a step that you should take.
Right, and I think that it's an excellent answer. It's a truthful answer, and unfortunately, a lot of us think things are going to happen the way I saw it on the internet. That somebody had an idea, and then 2 days later they're talking on a money phone. Right. All right, and it doesn't happen like that. No. And I really believe that in order to take in new information, there has to be a student to teacher concept going on, meaning somebody's going to have to sit down, one of us are going to have to listen, and somebody's going to have to take notes.
And be an apprentice. Like, this is
and
why
you're right. I've had people, I had a gentleman who was a millionaire who came to my class, and I couldn't figure out, why are you here? And he said, my father left me this business. I went to the university and I went to other facilities, but you're the one that I heard that will walk me through the steps. See, a lot of people, and see, this is for us at Assets. You don't just go through those 13 weeks and we say bye. What we do is say, all right, 13 weeks, now the real work begins. And we're here to help you, give you whatever you need, introduce you to whomever you need to be introduced to, and go from there. Now, I'm really, there's an organization out near Bowling Green who, if this is what you want to do with food, they will look at it, tell you what the ingredients are by the agricultural or the Fed's standards, and then they'll be able to put you in, help you get into different markets. I have a young man who's in Kroger's now. Took him a while, but the fact that he was willing to put in the work, he's in Kroger's. But more importantly, he has now a contract with the federal government providing his food to the installations. I think it's the Army and the Air Force. So that's what we try to do. Now, does it work for everybody? No. You have to put in the work. I've had people come to me and say, well, you do it for me. Now, one time has anybody asked me to be a partner, and if they did, I'd probably refuse. And there are no overnight successions here.
That organization you were talking about is called SIFT,
Yeah.
CIFT, because I own Toledo Mud Sauce. And, we gonna wait. We gonna get to the Kroger's, but after all this pandemic stuff. But yeah, in that, again, I started my company in 2020, and I am okay with waiting until it's ready. That's why I have several other things. But yeah, like you said, it's not overnight. And that's why I was hysterically laughing by someone who said they wanted to work 8 to 5. Oh,
Yeah, that's a
man.
job. You need to stay with me. All right.
Right.
They punch in and punch out if that's what you want.
If I wanted some security, I wouldn't have tried to employ myself.
Well,
Yeah,
and
you're
I
right.
think,
You're
but
right.
also I think that there's some security in being your own boss.
There
You
is.
know, and I think that what Miss Olivia said about if you've got some reasonable expectations and understand what you're getting into, and you're not clouded by these rose colored things that we see on TV, man, you can get it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll even drive your Rolls Royce and fill it up with gas for you.
I can
All
say
right.
I can say the odds are probably worse than the lottery for the people that do make it, and that's the truth.
But I think that, why am I arguing with you? I think that anything that has a value has a difficulty factor attached to it. The greater the goal, the greater the difficulty factor is. We will never find gold 10 inches into the ground. We're gonna have to dig. All right. And in order for Toledo mud sauce to take its place beside whatever other hot sauce, barbecue sauce it is.
How dare you disrespect?
Hey, okay, whatever. We can make it happen. All right. And I'm still filling up the Rolls Royce, and I'm filling up the Ferrari. All right. Hey, what I wanted to do, I wanted to share Assets Toledo page. If you want, family, if you go to this page, you can be able to see just what's there. All right. Can you see that, Miss Olivia?
I can.
Right. So you got it right here. This is in Toledo, family, and it says it's on Jefferson. All right. Now, come on. We're not going out to. Well, I'm just keep it in Toledo. It's here. All right. There's the mission statement. If you wanted to find out about the mission statement, there's mentoring. You also have the ribbons of support. There are the microloans, meaning that, hey, listen, you don't have to start from the bottom, or you can start at Olivia level, and we don't have to crawl before we walk. She can start you off running, all right, if you want, all right. There's support, there's networking, and of course, there's training that's going to be involved in this journey. There's a number right here at the bottom of the screen, or the bottom of the website, and you can click on to all of these tabs and learn more. This is in Toledo. This is not someone that just popped up overnight and said that they want to help people fail. All right. This is someone that's been in the business trenches for years that can make sure that if you want to start something, you can start it and keep it. You know. So we are, like I said, I'm a tremendous fan of what you do for the movement. And when we talk about the revolution, it's not just somebody protesting.
Right.
There's other people that are affecting change.
Generational wealth.
Right. And changing us from being unemployed to business owners, that's a revolution. That's a change. And economics is a part of the movement too. That's not some stepchild that sits on the side. And unfortunately, our opposition always just wanted us, Olivia, to just have signs up. All right. They were fine with that. But when we got some Olivias out here to say, hey, look, it's cool to have your signs, but you can start a business too. It's cool to talk about poverty because it's real, but it's also true that you can start a business too. We could be petitioning for more jobs, and we're a sign that says, I am a man. But Olivia said, hey, look, you can start your own business. You know, we got a website, Brother Washington. So you are a part of this movement, and we just love you so much for all you've done. We love seeing the acknowledgments on Facebook when people post their certificates that they finished the course, and everybody's showing them love and care in Facebook likes. We love it. We definitely need more of it. All right. So before we go, because we're coming up on another break, how can someone? Is there a telephone number? I know we showed the website, but sometimes people like hearing it come from a person too. If someone wanted to contact Assets Toledo, how would they do that?
Just phone us at 419-251-9850. Oh, wait a minute. 251-9870. I had to stop and think myself.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. So one more time, what's that number? If someone wanted to reach out to you and find out more about Assets Toledo before we take our break, how would they contact you?
Just phone us up 419-251-9870. Or you can go on www.assetstoledo and just there's an area, just click it and fill it out and say contact me. And that's all
right.
you have to do. I try, or my staff, it's a 24 to 48, no longer than 48 hours. We return your call. We're coming up next month, our 65th graduation.
Oh, that's awesome.
And in May, we start our 66 class. But we're going to have a series of workshops. And I tell you, I'm working with the city and some other entities to help. Jumpstart is one, which is enormous, and they are helping people. And I know you have a break coming up.
No, I was just looking at my watch because I was admiring it. But no, we're all good. Jody, look, Jody will have us break when we need to. All right, but this is the information that a lot of people don't get.
Right.
Like I say, they love us talking about police brutality. They love us talking about all of that other stuff, and they don't mind that. But this is the information that a lot of us need to have. So my apologies for.
Oh, no. I wasn't paying attention. I just heard that you looked at your watch. I just heard you say, but let me just share this one thing. It is nothing more exciting when you make your own rules. You make the decision as to what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Your business is going to be different than anyone else. And if anybody can remember, Door Street used to be a mecca of businesses. Hopefully, that will be revisited in some other areas that I'm involved in but we have to support each other. That's one
right.
big thing. But it is nothing so exciting to go to the bank and say, I made this decision that I'm putting this in the bank. It's a good feeling. It makes your heart sing.
That it does.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And family, we're talking about Assets Toledo. If you have a phone, you can go to the website. If you got a tablet or a computer, you can go right to the website. And also on Facebook. How will we find you on Facebook? Will we just type in Olivia Holden?
Assets Toledo.
All right, that way you don't get a whole bunch of people in your direct message. All right, Assets Toledo. All right, leave my sister alone, fellas out there. All right.
So, and then still one last thing, channeling Ruth.
All right,
I'll let you answer.
All right, Miss Olivia. Before we leave, this is National Women's Month, and what better cheerleaders for Black women and women in general than to have you and I, Jody? That's awesome. All right. I'm glad you didn't answer that too. All right. But what does National Women's Month mean to you, Miss Holden?
You know, we, and particularly as Black women, we have some shoulders that we stand on. And if you look back, or I do, I look back and I am so enamored by Fannie Lou Hamer, who said she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I think about that. And if you get sick and tired from our four women, they paved the way for us. That's and right. We don't even know it. But those women open up doors that nobody could go through, but now we can. That means the world to me. It's not just a male dominated society. Women have always been at the forefront, standing next to their husbands, encouraging, thinking, doing what they need to do to make them get ahead, to provide for. So that means the world to me, and we should acknowledge it, not just 1 month, 12 months of the year.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Ms. Holden. Thank you for joining us. And later on in the year, if we asked you to come back, would you be willing to come back and share more of Assets Toledo and all of the things that you're doing?
I would love it. And if at all possible, when I hear of opportunities, can I send them your way so that you can share it? Because trust me, there are some.
You are more than welcome. And I've been trying to not be the guy behind the curtain on the page, but you are more than welcome to share on our page. Stuff like that, we do approve. It's not like spam. So if you want to tag CSRN in it, you're more than welcome to.
I'm going to do that.
Right. And if you wanted to, like the old school, if you wanted to email it to me, I would, hey, I know us. You can email it and we'll share it. And that's what it's about. You said earlier about us supporting each other. This is not a competition. Right. We are complementing each other. All right. So thank you so much, Ms. Holden. Family, this is the CSRN Video Minutes, a weekly podcast. We will be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant, inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober, safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We just showed a quick commercial from Wasion Wellness and Recovery. If you know where Wasion, Ohio is, that is, what is that? It's west or south? It's past the airport, past Swanton, past Delta, and then you'll find out where I work. One of the greatest things about working there is I work in the middle of a cornfield. So I've never had anybody just pop up on my job. That's a lot of gas, and gas being $4 and $5 a gallon. This is a great chance I'll be in my office by myself all day.
That would be worried in the middle of the cornfield.
Hey, you know what?
You got some sugar?
No, when it's sundown, I'm out of there. But so shout out to Lama Humanop, shout out to Myrtle Boykin Lightens for allowing me to do what I do, how I do it. I love the work of working in recovery because recovery does work. Mental health and wellness is really important. So anyone that saw that commercial, there's a hotline number that you could call right there if you're feeling some anxiety, depressed, or struggling with addiction. Give us a call. I might even be on the hotline number. Just call me. I'll talk you off that ledge or talk you to wellness. And if it's treatment that you need, fine. If it's counseling or therapy that you need, we can explore all of those questions. So hopefully my boss see that I can get that raise. So mentioning the job, all right, her name and what good work we do. All right, so I'm trying to work everything through right now. Before we get to loose ends, because we're going to start wrapping things up for today. This has been an awesome podcast with Sister Affy, Miss Holden, and everybody else that's in the chat. And before we finish, if you can mention who's all in the chat so we can give them a shout out.
So I always appreciative. We're going to call her super chat. I'm trying to pick up some of these podcast terms, but Georgia, you've been wonderful as usual, always helpful, asking questions to everybody, letting engaging. So
Right.
We got Georgia, and we've had a few people in here. Twyla.
What?
She popped
Mother
in
Pike?
for a moment.
Okay,
So,
all right. That's
yeah.
a big deal if we got Sister Twyla in our chat, all right?
Jimmy, we saw you tuned in for a bit. And then Tanya, she's actually a notary and a poet and some other stuff,
okay.
Everything like that. So shout out to all of y'all for watching, and a few other people who haven't popped up, but Alfie. She's been back in the chat when she left off. She's been communicating and everything with everybody, so we definitely appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I thought you had one more thing to say. Okay, all right. All right, we need to have some.
I'm also responding. Again,
all right,
I'm always going to be doing this because I like instantly responding to people. So if you see me looking up and looking down, I'm responding.
All right,
live.
And I love what you do. I love what you do. I'm not at that level that I can pick up my phone and communicate, and I can't do two things at once. So one of the things that I wanted to do right now is talk about what National Women's Month means to me. I agree with Miss Olivia where she said that, well, really, it's not just a month, it's 24/7. And I agree. And I think that us as men, it would be good if we understood and realized the power of women. One of the quotes that Elijah Muhammad had said was that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And think about what that means. That if the woman is the first teacher, the first nurse, the first doctor, the first nurturer, whoever you have admired as a guy, he had a mother.
Yes.
Whoever, if some of us are spiritual, if we love Jesus, well, Jesus had a mother. And that mother was the first teacher. We love Prophet Muhammad. Well, he had a mother. And that was the first teacher. You know, so all of the men that we say have done so many great things. Well, the mother was the first teacher. So we need to recognize that, like I said, a nation could rise no higher than its woman. And if it weren't for God, the only thing worth worshiping would be that woman. All right, because you definitely didn't get here by yourself. All right.
Right.
So that's what honoring National Women's Month means to me. And further, I believe that we should respect, protect, and uplift our women. If we don't, no one else will. And if the world hears us disrespecting our women, then how can they have a healthy respect for our women? Right. So we have some responsibility in the way that we uplift our women, the way we communicate, the way we engage, the way that we mediate conflict and solve problems and settle differences. It's so important for us as men to realize how valuable our sisters are to us. Also, I wanted to announce, Jody, we did get a call from my brother, Omar. He is in the Colorado prison system. And every week he calls in to give us an update. Let me see if he's on. Brother Omar, are you on? Hey, I'm doing just fine, just fine. Hey, listen, brother, it is National Women's Month. We just had two awesome sisters on. One is Affy Hemmings, who is an entrepreneur extraordinaire. Whatever you could think of, she can make it. And the other sister, Brother Omar, that we had is a sister named Olivia Holden. She is the director of an organization called Assets Toledo. And what she does is she teaches and trains future entrepreneurs and how to operate a business, how to keep it alive, and how to do some goal settings. And if you were on Facebook, like Jody is on Facebook, you'd see so many people that have benefited from, I know Jody, that have benefited from her classes. So for everybody that's listening, we have on the phone with us our brother Omar Gent from the Colorado Prison Industrial Complex. And he also organizes with us. So Brother Omar, if you don't mind, if you could introduce yourself, who you are, why are you still in this struggle, and what does National Women's Month mean to you? If that was a lot, look, brother, you handle so much. So what do you think about what we just said, who you are, why are you still in the struggle, brother, and what does National Women's Month mean to you?
Thank you, my brother, for this opportunity. Everybody put the platform together. My name is Omar Jen, born May 6, 1984. I've been in this struggle basically because my mother was a strong, beautiful, wonderful black woman. She made me, under the grace of God, she made me everything that I am. And even though she passed away, the lessons and the blessing that she poured upon me are still alive and well today. National Women's Month, is very important to me because it's one little small spot in time, but every day I try to focus on the power of being a black man, first and foremost, a black woman, and then all women, because our women in our community are often so overlooked and abused and misused, and so we have to protect them and elevate them. So this month is very important because it allows more people to come into awareness. This means going back to the center for me of what always kept us going as a people. These are women.
Beautiful, beautiful. Brother, what is it that makes you continue to stand up for prisoner rights, for justice, especially in a time like this?
Oh my good brother, so many things, but because of this month, I was really not because of this month, but just really thinking about, there's so much about how life twists and turns and the people that pour into us and invest in us. For me, it's been a lot of women that's been praying over me and blessing me, beautiful, strong, wonderful, intelligent sisters. I just got off the phone the other day with one of my comrades' mothers, his mom. I call her my mother now because she basically adopted me. I told her I didn't have no mama. She's like, "You got one now, baby." So it's stuff like that. It just empowers me as a freedom fighter and an activist to have these women pouring into me, and it keeps me going. Also, your platform as well, to know that I can connect to intelligent, powerful, resourceful, sisters out there, entrepreneurs, activists, teachers, thinkers. That's what keeps me going, inspires me, because I know with women, you may not have the money, the financial resources, you may not have the political resources, but women are more powerful than the army and tanks, because tanks destroy, women give life.
Wow. I repeated a quote from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a nation can rise no higher than its woman. What are your thoughts on that quote?
Oh, man. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, my brother. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Mothers are our first teacher. Women are the first teachers of the children. So often, they may be the only teachers that they have for a long period of time. I was reading something that I read years ago when it came back to my mind. They were talking about during the struggles of, slavery time, how a lot of the time, because the males were feared and even exterminated, not letting in the institutions next to the slave owners and the overseers, it was the woman that was going behind these lines and bringing back resources, going underground, literally sometimes digging tunnels, hooking up
All right. Before we
I didn't know that she used her wealth. She believed in the white abolitionist John Brown's cause so much. She put, I think, over $1 million there. She used her wealth, but unfortunately it didn't pan out because of his planning and other circumstances. But this is what we're talking about. So when I read stuff like that, I'm like, wow, this woman, this wonderful woman, this wonderful black woman, put over $1 million in that day, stood up, went across the country, was following this man, and she's like, oh, free my people, here's my money. I was like, I gotta say it. To read stuff like that helps me to stay balanced and stay in touch and be, more and more inspired, because we must protect our women, honor them, and be there for them at all times.
All right. For you, I think the last one of our last conversations that we had, and unfortunately, we have. I don't want to say the worst, Omar, the worst tech team ever. All right. I don't want to say they may not be the.
We have a large learning curve.
Right, okay. Good.
We got to flatten the curve.
All right. Jody, thank you. Those were some awesome words. He said we have a large learning curve in creating these podcasts, because at one point when they ask us to put the website on and we make a full page, it takes out the sound.
Right.
So I think one of the parts that I think that a lot of people may not heard was what do you do for self-care? If you don't mind running that with me again. And for those that are on, I want to thank everybody, and particularly Sister Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, for alerting us. Brother Omar, people are really enjoying what you're saying, but they're challenged when Jody pushes the button and all the sound goes out. I got to throw somebody under the bus, Omar. All right. Well, all right then. Almost as if we meant to do that. All right. So for you, brother, and I got about 5 more minutes on this call. What is it that you do for self-care to keep you balanced, even though you're in the belly of the beast? What is it that you do?
Stay centered. My brother's centered on the Creator first and foremost, because I don't have Him. I have no peace whatsoever. So I make sure, I stay centered on His Word, and I just focus on unplugging from the diet of fear, spiritually, mentally. Making sure I don't put the diet of fear in my body through the things I eat. I guard my gates, like the Quran says. What I watch, what I listen to, who I'm around. That's very important. And I also think of, the wonderful black woman in my life who invested in me, who continues to invest in me. So that keeps me centered. I think of how in this country, in the annals of history, there's been no people that have been under attack like black people. Some people may disagree with that, but if you look at history, you see so many. If our women can stay centered through everything they went through and are going through, that encouraged me to stay centered and to protect them and to provide for them all the love and all the encouragement and everything I can do as a man to the grace of the Creator.
All right. My last question is not just for our brothers that are in TCI, Toledo Correctional Institution, but earlier this week I got a call from a family of a brother in Lucasville that if you're Muslim, then there should be a halal dinner or halal menu that you can pick from. But for whatever reason, the warden there and the captain there are not returning calls. Could you give some words of encouragement for the families of our brothers that are at TCI and the families of our brothers who are at Lucasville? And we need to also reach out to our sisters too, Jody, all right, to make sure that they're a part of this. And that may be my next job for maybe next week, is to find some of our advocates for our sisters who are incarcerated to be on this podcast.
I think we had Chastity.
All right, we'll reach out to Chastity, see what's up with her.
Julian knows what I'm talking about.
All right, I know too.
In the green room.
Yeah, we got it in.
Yep.
Here in Toledo. We ain't no joke. All right, we pull up. All right, we want all the smoke. Brother Omar, if you could, what words of encouragement would you have for the families of our brothers that are in Toledo Correctional Institution in Lucasville?
Be encouraged. Know that the Creator was with you. Allah is with you. Anytime that you are oppressed and you standing for what is right, He's with you. Doesn't mean that you will not encounter, repression and enemies. Come together. I often tell everybody that not all paper it don't exist. So please document your concerns. If it's not on paper, it does not exist. Pull yourselves together. Document these concerns. Present them to Colorado, not Colorado, but the Department of Corrections where you are, to the proper strings of authority, the chain of command. And if anything, they don't respond, initiate a lawsuit if possible. Because you got to know that if it wasn't for the Nation of Islam brothers launching lawsuits, we would not have kosher meals in the American prison system. So it came through struggle. It came through these brothers documenting everything and going to war against the enemy system in the court of law. So realize that prisoners do not like calls. They don't like things being documented. They don't like things being addressed in an intelligent fashion. They underestimate our people's intelligence and strength. When we come together and we hit them on paper, and we move and organize and put the pressure on them, they will start to back up, brothers and sisters.
All right, brother, as always, we thank you for taking your time out. We thank you for being here to speak truth to power and to keep our families of those who are presently and formerly incarcerated hopeful, brother. And as always, Brother Omar, shields up and original salute to you, brother. Revolutionary salute.
I love you all, and please follow me on Instagram at Free Our Brothers. Shields up.
All right, thank you, brother. Listen, family, that's our brother Omar Gent calling all the way from Colorado. Hey, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with Julian.
Yep.
All right?
We got some loose ends with Julian.
Right, loose ends. Okay, we might make a thing of that. Loose ends with Julian. All right? So hang tough, family. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Audio Jungle.
All right, that was kind of a sharp change from the music and vibing. We got to find a way to kind of grab
the growing curve.
Okay, but we got to find a way to kind of at least kind of
have a nice transition.
Yeah.
All the buttons. We just got to get a good fade out.
Okay, all right. Let's see if that's possible. We need to get a hold of Jesse Coleman, who for the 419 Media and the 419 Grind.
Yeah.
Rise and Grind. So he has
419 Media Group.
Right, in the Rise and Grind podcast, which was selected as the #1 podcast.
I think that was 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. So, okay, I need to have what Jesse's having. So
I just saw him out there in LA. He's been posting about it. So shout out and big ups to you.
Right. And one of
this Darian too.
Right. Before we bring on our spokesperson, Brother Julian Mack, just a shout out to Jesse, because we knew nothing about leveling up a podcast. All right. We knew how to put a camera there and rig up some lights. And when I say rig up, hey, it is.
One day we'll show you behind the scenes what this looks like.
Right. And we'll be ready to do a before and after too. All right. For that. All right. But just a shout out to Jesse Coleman for 419 Media for teaching and training us in leveling up on this podcast experience. Now, speaking of experience, I do want to bring in our brother Julian Mack. If the team can bring him in without messing that up too. All right. Okay, there. All right. So, all right. So we've got our brother Julian Mack. He serves as, and I'm introducing him like he is a big boss. Well, he serves as
in the big boss tree.
Right. He serves as our spokesperson. We've been involved in a lot of controversial things regarding the policies that we champion and some direct action. And before we do something, we let them know. Since all of us can't talk at the same time, we elect one person to take all the arrows, all of the smoke, all of the opposition, all of the ridicule, and much more. In an organization, you need to have someone that's going to speak on behalf of everyone. And all of us are willing to go to bat, but I'm so glad that we have our brother Julian. So if you can, I know I already did a pre-introduction, We're going to do our loose ends, and then we're going to have Jody close out with 5 minutes of heat. If you can introduce yourself, Julian, and then what's going on in the world of not only our neighborhood, politics, local, national, and even some of our local planning for this summer that you think the people should know about.
Good evening, family. My name is Julian Mack, preferred gender pronouns, he, him, and bruh. I'm spokesman with the Community Solidarity Response Network, and I am dedicated to being an active part of the solution and an active participant in our own, not only our own survival, but our own flourish. Just want to say a couple brief things this evening. The first thing I want to do is pub something that I am going to put on our page right after this, which is going to be a robust discussion by a group we're connected to called Black Men Build. Black Men Build is exactly what it sounds like, an organization of Black men that are connected or that are interconnected to build with our collective power. And the discussion tonight is going to be really powerful because it's going to include Nina Turner, who's seeking to hold a congressional spot out of Cleveland. Many people recognize Nina Turner as one of the Black women. I guess I should say like premier people that's up front from the Bernie Sanders campaign. And from her progressive policies and stances here locally. Also, Maurice Mitchell, who is the president of the Working Families Party. The Working Families Party is a leftist group that continues to challenge Democrats to be more progressive and be a party of the people, as opposed to a party of committed to the corporate donors and the corporate class, which increasingly we see more and more as neoliberalism has its chokehold on the Democratic Party. But, you know, we have to, I think, also stay focused on what's happening locally. So I'm going to kind of start local and head out and build out the Toledo City Council, as per its Toledo City Charter. The City Council must be divided into 6 different districts. These are adjusted or redistricted every 10 years. There is a map out there that is in much need of public opinion and public feedback. Right now is the time for that public opinion and public feedback, not after it's too late. So, you know, I think it's important what we look for, you know, is these lines drawn to, you know, minimize the voice, the diverse voice, may I add, of the Black community locally. So the first meeting, I believe, is going to be at Mott Branch Library coming up. And I highly recommend, you know, if you can make it. I have the link, Brother Washington, you can put that up on the screen below. If you go to toledo.ohio.gov/redistricting. But this is, you know, all the decisions like our water, our sewage, our trash, these are all made by City Council or potholes on a local level. And, you know, we do want to make sure that our voice is heard. The current, I'll even go as far as to say this, right? There are some districts in the way that they're drawn, where those who are elected to represent that district, it's a very low priority to uphold the demands of what Black people, Black Toledoans have to say. So we want to make sure that our voice is heard in each and all of these districts. Secondly, it's very important that we know the discussion is on the state level. The discussion is still going back and forth on what our state districts will be. It has gone back and forth to the Supreme Court several times, and ignore that. But it's gone back and forth to the Supreme Court several times, and it's important that we know that this is a very important battle. They've even tried to make negotiations to say that this map will only last 5 years as opposed to 10. But redistricting, 'tis the season. This is something that's going on and is something to very much pay attention to, and it's something that very much will determine the outcome of elections. Right? We've gotten to the point where our democracy is flipped upside down, where the people aren't choosing the voters, the elected officials are choosing the voters, right? And that is not the way this system is supposed to work. Flawed system as it may be, it's not even working the way that it should. Again, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a very important bill that passed here in Ohio that essentially gets rid of concealed carry. So, to make it clear, this eliminates more barriers or any barrier to having a gun and whether or not it should be concealed. I just gonna add my own 2 cents here that this is being done in the midst of increased gun violence in many of our neighborhoods, ravaged with poverty. This is being done in the midst of an unprecedented level of suicides committed by firearm. It's the governor who many of us may remember when there was a mass shooting in the downtown of Dayton, came across very much moderate, like he was someone that would be willing to stand up to the corporate interests of things like the NRA. Really, during an election year, which is this year for governor, singing very much a different tune this time around. So this is nothing to do with the Second Amendment, right? This is, whether or not we should have really common sense barriers that prevent our communities from being ravaged by gun violence, right? Gun violence is an issue that's uniquely pervasive in the United States of America. Other places in the world don't have. I mean, we all know people that have died from gun violence. This is something that's
right,
particularly bad in this nation, and I think we need to take notice of it. And then just lastly, I cannot stress enough. I thank you all for your patience and your viewership and watching Brother Washington, Jody, and all of our other guests, and doing so on a regular basis. And me too, right? But I think it is important. I try not to speak on things I don't know about, right? And there are some experts who know a little bit more about the imperialism of this country, right? And how that affects so-called terrorists, and how that affects our global safety. And I'm very interested in hearing more about what some of these experts have to say at 8 o'clock on the Black Men Build call. That's all. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for now and say it's good to see y'all. I'm working hard. We have some really big things coming up that I don't want to kind of let the lid off yet. But just because I'm not, just because you don't see me on this podcast does not mean that I'm not putting in liberation work and doing work to bring our community together and doing work to heal our community, because I'm a firm believer that hurt people. But if that's true, the inverse of that is also true, which is that healed people can heal people. And at some point, we must ask ourselves as a community, as an individual, when are we going to heal? And what action does that take? So peace, love, and blessings, y'all.
Yes, sir.
You're dipping on us? Hey, you're not dipping on us, are you?
I guess not.
Okay.
No, he was just letting us know.
I know, but
letting us know something that we've never heard before when he says, hey, listen, I'm wrapping this up. And then he wrapped it up. And you're just surprised. You're just baffled. Nothing's happening. No. He started local, then he expanded out, and then he expanded to the international realm. All right. And then he brought it back in. I'm like, this is my son. Like, a tear was about to come. I'm like, man, how has he grown?
See, this is what the people tune in for.
Wow. Well, I'm disappointed if they do. Hey, listen, that was our loose ends, all right, which is really how we summarize what's happening locally, how it affects us nationally, and then there's an international aspect of the freedom, protest, and activist culture too. However, as we close this out, family, if you're viewing this for the first time or for the 10th time, we never close it out with someone hitting the gavel, Jody, or someone seconding something or thirding something. I don't even know if that's the thing. If it's not, it's
Robert's rules.
Right. I would say blank up Robert. All right. We also CSRN time. I was gonna say CPT time. We're on CSRN time. And how we close out with creative expression. And Jody has somewhat served as our resident spoken word artist. Not that we take advantage of him, but he gives freely his art in order to make sure that we end our podcast the way that we started. Jody, what do we have today?
Well, and I appreciate that because, week after next, I will be turning 7 as far as an artist year and all that stuff. And I do want to say that because of being the resident poet, I guess you could say laureate.
Yeah, okay, whatever title you want. You got it.
It's also pushed me to continue to write and expand and create, because I think one thing as creators, when we are peaceful, we do not create as much. I think beauty, just personal experience and people I've known over 7 years, the most chaotic moments create the most beautiful things, kind of like being a phoenix and stuff like that. So if I wasn't pressured,
you're making me snap my fingers early. All right, man.
But to
I'm
do
not worthy.
5 minutes of heat, I wouldn't have 4,000 plus poems, 2 published books, films, all of this stuff. Like being able to go to my page and pick out over 100 hours of recorded video. I would have probably been like, hey, I'll do some open mics every now and then. But no, because I know I have a responsibility I can't open mic everybody. And Hunter, I'm still looking at you. And next month we'll be doing the Black Lives book again, going back to that. And since I didn't get the question of what I think of this month, that's okay though.
Okay. All right.
I ain't hurt. Today I picked a piece that I actually wrote for February and Black History Month, and it's basically, best way to explain it. I write emotions. It's not necessarily themed on anything, but it's the emotions that I experience as I live them. So that give you the impressions of things, and after 4,000 pieces, it's like, wait, it's all like one thing, yes. Whether it's love, whether it's politics, food, erotic poetry, empowering poetry, poetry about a tree. I have a few dozen of those. It's all me. So this is called With You 419. It's my impression of what I guess you would say a healthy relationship, what a queen or would give her male counterpart, how the emotions that men don't speak to their wives, to their girlfriends, to side chick, whatever, to those people that we probably should more because men, tough, bold, repressed. So this is what this is. It's also an homage to my city in the 419 aspect of it too.
Let's go.
So, everybody, all the people out there listening, let's begin. Peace with you, 419. With you, I felt normal. With you, I didn't worry about these little broken, jagged pieces that trail behind the foreshadowing of my heart. With you, it was okay to sit in silence and not feel awkward, to not look at some strangers in the eyes and wondering if they were picking me apart like some anatomy lesson. With you, I didn't have to tiptoe around old broken memories and faded adventures with people who I once called friends. With you, I grew to not just chase my dreams, but viciously attack them with all the life I have in me, to never worry about if someone is going to attack me that got too close. With you, I felt calm. With you, I didn't feel my tears were wasted on someone who at the end of the day would say, "It's okay, you'll be fine." And then I have to carry another jagged piece of broken memories to trail behind this muscle that is already so tired. With you, I felt calm. With you, the meticulous bits didn't matter. I was able to ground myself and not nitpick things that did not need my attention. With you, surviving felt easy and more like life is supposed to be than I had ever experienced before. With you, I explored and took risks that I would have never attempted by myself. With you, I found happy parts to explore and focus my energy into creating more than just aimlessly wandering around, finding moments of joy but never living them long enough to call them peaceful. With you, I thought I was done locking up, caging, burying, and plastering over old thoughts that I never want to think about again. With you, I thought my trauma was over, that I wouldn't face personal inflictions of pain, nightmares, and confusion over someone I willingly gave my keys to. With you, I was happy, and I don't regret any moment of times we connected without either of our egos or pride to be okay with being alone. With you, I stopped searching. I felt comfortable in having one person to share parts of me that I wasn't mature enough to give past relationships and couldn't articulate the things that I told you. With you, I had someone to care for, someone I could help build dreams with, form realities, and manifest the things we always talked about. To have someone other than myself tell my partner the parts that they were there to witness. With you, I felt normal, in peace.
All right. Well, man. Okay. I guess we're supposed to snap our fingers.
I know.
And there's some.
I guess so. Here's
That's
something
right.
in the books in the childhood trauma series. The specific thing about that poem is why it's 419. Is the first break is after 4 sentences. The second one is 1, and the last one is 9 repetitive sentences. So now y'all know the secret.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Jody. Thank you for our spokesperson, Julian Mack, and the lead of our administrative Core, Ruth Leonard, and everybody that joins us to do this work.
Everybody that's put in, I mean, even though you're not here right now with us on the podcast, your 7 years is here too.
Right. And we are working on doing a monthly in-person State of Black Toledo report, all right, to the community, as only we could.
True.
Only we could. So be on the lookout, for that. And especially now that a lot of the mandates are being rescinded, a lot of things appear to be going back to. I want it to appear right because I can't qualify, but I'm going to say it appears to go back to more of a normal setting. Then I think that we can also move toward that normal, that meeting in person. Yep. It can happen. Matter of fact, all of 2020, our mosque was shut down. We weren't going to meetings at all. But as things started moving back to so-called normal, we also decided as the Nation of Islam, as our policy now, we're going to have in-person meetings. Yeah. But with the asterisk, to make sure that everyone is masked, to make sure everyone gets their temperature taken, to make sure that after the meeting, we're not standing around. You can go home, all right? And also to make sure that we have sanitizer on hand and that anyone that wants to donate, you can donate online, all right? So we had all of those things in place. Well, with the new mandates, some of those things you may not have to do now.
Right.
So you may not have to you could be free to not wear a mask, all right? You could be free to wear a mask now. You may not have to have your temperature taken, but obviously if you just show up and you're coughing and sneezing, I'm like, come on, bro. You need to be somewhere else anyway, all right?
Right.
So things are coming back to a sense of what we call normal. So be looking out, family, for that. All right. Hey, look, it's time for our
wrap up,
our solidarity pledge. And I think that everybody saw our crawlers down there letting people know that if you wanted to donate to CSRN, you could donate to we've got our PayPal, we've got our Cash App. If you like this podcast and you like to support this podcast, this is a way that you can do it. Or you can stop by the Toledo Urban Federal Credit Union and say, hey, listen, I'd like to donate toward CSRN. They do great work. They're still here. And I'd like to support them in any way, in that way. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your viewers. And we look forward to being here next week, if the universe willing.
Lastly, I just want to add, and maybe I should have included this earlier. So one of the things I'll be doing, I guess in a professional sense, is launching a program with Brothers and Sisters United to help tackle the infant mortality rate here locally. So anybody that's expecting, men and women, or as a child less than 12 months old, please shoot them my way. There's some resources we can get them in contact with, and there's an abundance of information in regards to co-parenting, in regards to safety, all types of things. So please just send them my way. Please send them my way.
All right. So as we close out with the Solidarity Pledge, I've got it here with me. Do you have one, Julian?
I don't.
All right. That's awesome. All right. So obviously it means that I have it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say I, and you respond I. And Jody, since we have kind of a time pause, Jody's going to make sure that he responds when you respond so that when people hear it, it looks like we're talking at the same time.
That effect works there too. Okay, I see.
All right. So if you can repeat after me, I. Your name.
Julie.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Jody has to just do a little pause. Say your name.
Jay Summers.
True. Julian Mack.
Okay, y'all. Pledge to strive.
Pledge
to strive.
To study.
To
study.
To improve myself.
To improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Morally.
And physically.
For
the benefit of myself.
For the
benefit of myself.
My community.
My community.
And my people.
And my people.
I. Your name.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge
to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process. And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Your name.
Julian.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time. My strength. And energy. To achieve. The above said. And give yourselves a hand clap. We have made it through another week.
I will see you, Columbus, tomorrow morning for the Survivors 2022 walk. Shout out to Anton Parks. I'll be speaking and marching in domestic violence about the murder of my mom and all that good stuff. So tomorrow in Columbus, next week, and we'll talk about it on the show. I get to do my loose ends. Sons of Toledo will be at Mock Branch. We'll be posting that on the page. I will be in attendance.
Oh man,
so it's gonna be fun.
That's awesome, and I hope we can share that to our page.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it.
Sure.
I just got the link, and it's been in like 13 film festivals. So I followed the Instagram and stuff. If you want to find out more about the movie, Instagram, type in Sons of Toledo, all one word, and you can see what film festivals it's been submitted to and the nominations and all that stuff.
Awesome. Big deal. All right.
First movie shot in Toledo.
Beautiful. And family, as always, man, all lives can't matter until Black
lives matter.
And Black lives can't
matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
Peace.